TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just
My bad. Never-ending IT issues trying to get this shit going this morning. Holy fuck. The fight was real. What up, y'all? It is fucking Wednesday. Decent correction. Now's the time to let go all of your past trading sins. Chance for a reset. So, yeah, that artwork is not doing what the fuck I actually did on any fucking level. I have no idea what's going on with Twitter today, but it's like loading that shit and turning it into something completely different than what it is. I wonder if I can play it the way it's supposed to be played. Yeah, it's just fucked. That's not the speed of it at all. It's like going a million miles an hour on Twitter. That's totally not what I did. This one seems to have slowed down. Yeah, it's going much faster than I actually intended. But what do you guys think? Jesus fucking Christ, that was a pain in the ass. You wouldn't believe how many fucking times I fucking reloaded this thing. It was going like so fast it would give you a fucking seizure. It's not what I did. It was more like this. Anyways, and then the still shot is that. Pretty dope. Very rarely seen mask of mine. Never really used it. Let me get my monitor real quick. Oof, let's start. You guys like the still shot? Still shot better than the glitch? Wasn't much of a glitch. It was kind of like I couldn't put them both together and kind of create that like window light effect I had going on with the guy here. So the still shot, I kind of showcased that in one shot. It looked really good with that blend, but I couldn't blend them really well into this. So I tried, I couldn't get it to work, so I took him out. But I wanted to showcase that effect I had with the two different shots of him. It looked really dope. So, but yeah, I think both of them like stand on their own, like two different kind of like pieces of art. But I like them both. So I got a camera pretty cool. Oh, what's going on with my monitor screen? Play. That's exactly what it means, Kiki. That's exactly the sentiment of it, is letting go of your past trading self to embrace your future blessings the market's got for you, right? So that's exactly the sentiment of what that picture is supposed to be. Good. Glad it got through. Oh, right. Sorry about that. A lot of stress trying to get out of this fucking IT hellhole I was in this morning. Lost my N for a while. Fucking multiple resets on that. Fucking couldn't export. Fucking Procreate crashed on me. Everything was crashing. So gave me an extra 20 minutes of bullshit. And now here I am. So it is 9:26. Market's going to open. So we're going to have an in the market show because fuck my life. That's why. Well, let me get some people ready for something to get out of here with. So pre-market things right now. What are you walking into? Market's down a bit. FOMC is today. Keep that in mind. So you do want to pay attention. I think Yellen is speaking this morning. But most importantly is FOMC minutes. Pullback is pretty serious after yesterday. So we're pretty parabolic until last Friday. And the correction for everybody who came running. I mean, like I said, the sentiment off of the amount of symbols that were asked was like incredible. And pullbacks needs to be as severe as it needs to be to get rid of everybody who's like late money. So decent pullbacks on everything you've got here in tech that was leading this stuff. Google, Meta, Apple, not like huge pullbacks or anything like that, but enough, on the tech side. And like I said, you probably see some relative strength in like, regional banks and things like that, or industrials, while everyone stared at tech. And tech, lo and behold, became much, much weaker than industrials yesterday with a little strength in energy. And Sim's saying right now there's post-market Nvidia's got earnings, so you definitely want to see what they have to say in there, and if they say anything more about AI, because everybody obviously is like all over that. So, so that being said, Tesla will pull back and stuff like that. But these are some of the guys right now. If you miss some of these moves and this market's going to still be bullish, then these are the pullbacks you needed to give you some bigger corrector structures to play with, while the market had been just ridiculously parabolic. So let go of your past trading sins if you didn't find joints at the bottom of these, and pay attention, because if they're still in trend, a whole nother opportunity is going to start taking shape here in front of us. All right, let's see. Wrong template. Nomics master. All right, got it. All right. That's Thursday. Never mind. It's today. Is it? Which one is it? Is it today or is it Thursday? It's pretty important. So market's gonna open in 2 minutes. I'll throw up a quick market thing before it actually opens. So corrective structure, bigger than we thought. We said if you could stay up here and flag on top of this level, which was the previous high that put us into the actual low on the largest resolutions coming down from 2021. If he stayed there, he could push up a little higher. Otherwise, he could correct deeper. And I said, down to here is probably where you're paying attention to your first level, right? Going back inside of this. So he's now right in top of this right now. So you got your first decent correction. Message retracted. Too funny. So let's draw that guy out for what he is. This is where you're going to open right now down into there. So pretty big pullback in this now. So now making this kind of possible 2B, right? Those are your two scenarios. This is a fake break of the high, or it's just, it's just a break, and it can pull back anywhere before it breaks the low again, and that's going to be a bear trap. Obviously, we wouldn't want to see it pull back all the way to the ground, but, you never take that possibility off the table. So anyways, break of this recent high, suckers a bunch of people in, pull back under here. You always watch how this gets dealt with. You're going to figure out how bad this is basically by how bad the pullback is, how many people really fell for this break. So we're going to basically watch this now and see how big the corrective structure we get is, right? This is the biggest one we saw. These are smaller ones. It could be just this big, or it could be even bigger, right? So for now, we want to track this thing as he pulls back. We do have increasing VIX volatility right now. You can see that over here. He's pumping pretty good back up towards 20. We told you to pay attention to that. That was kind of a big danger if you saw that guy get any strength, and he did get a little bit of strength. And you do have a reason to have a volatile event because you have the debt ceiling conversation looming, and you have the Federal Reserve. So you got the low rotation again. Told you pay attention. It's a good inflection point on this angle, and we bounced right on this angle again. This is the long-term angle for the VIX if we're going to get VIX-mageddon. And so this recoil off of here right now is a de-risk situation, right? 15, 16, very complacent market, which is what we told you guys. So as he bounces out of here now, bull flag on volatility, we get our corrective structure. How big is it going to get is the thing we need to gauge, right? So right now as he opens up like this, I think I did this for you guys in On Cyber. For all you guys who came out to On Cyber, let me get that. God, it's going to give me a seizure. On Cyber things, I can't hit the music button because it'll fuck me, but you guys, it was a vibe. We had some really good OG throwback 30 years ago fucking, electronica that you guys can't believe sounds like fucking today, but it does. Really cool vibes. And in here, we did a prep for NQs. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. I told you guys potential bot range to pay attention to first. God damn it. That you can pull down to first is this yellow box range, remember? So we looked at this yesterday, and this was a potential area for pull. First area I said that's major pullback. You pay attention to how he interacts with this area of volume. Worst case scenario, then he's heading down to this area. So opening up right now, down overnight, down on the session yesterday, and down to this box range. This is your first inflection point to see how he deals with things, that you might find a place for him to bounce from. So while he takes out this vicious ass low he's got down here. So pay attention to this. If you manage to recoil back in here, you might have a chance at some reasonable reasonable bounce. And again, pay attention to FOMC for the session. So that's him. And then ES things. I don't think I had anything else specific on this chart for him. We talked about him as a megaphone pattern, trying to escape it, and he's gone back into it. So if you take this piece of shit and extend it, he's done it again, possibly, right? So if that goes with the 2B of the Qs, it can pull back a lot deeper. For right now, you're back in this shit range, and if he sits in here, probably leave it low until fucking FOMC is probably the safer thing, if you're trying to navigate this. The NAS will give you probably a clearer read than the ES will, being in this shit show right now. And then as far as the Dow goes, That's very ugly, right? And we had this range here for congestion. You bounced off it, bounced off it. He sits here. We could cliff dive a lot deeper, so you want to pay attention to this also. And the Fed says anything negative with Yellen, it would get a lot uglier. And Yellen is probably going to say nothing positive because she's going to make everyone feel terrified. If the debt ceiling doesn't get resolved, the whole country's going to die in 5 minutes. That's always her fucking scare fucking pitch. So that's probably what she's going to do when she gets on the microphone. So pay attention to that. There's definitely some catalyst to send us down deeper. Like I said, VIX is kind of strong right now. And if you pay attention to the VIX, you pay attention to DXY. DXY is a little strong right now. And all these things are bearish to the market for the moment, right? So what you do have is at least a trajectory of things, right? This big dip correction. And we can track this guy down. And if you go to a bull flag rotation anywhere, don't be too zoomed in, and you can make a plan for it, right? Could be this shallow, could get noisy, could be fucking down and fucking right back. Depends what comes out of the Fed today and how the market reacts to it from that point to the end of the session till tomorrow. So not much else I can add to that. So hope you guys are paying attention to this. We have some interesting levels here. So with the Dow, keep track of this level if he comes back across it. And then I don't think there's anything else we give a shit about. All right. So yeah. So for whoever's got to go out there and get their balls chopped off in the early market, go for it. All right. That covers that. Have you motherfuckers left me a war story in recent memory? I can't even remember last time I read a war story in this show. Let's see. All right, war stories. What do you guys got for me? Any? Okay, I do got a couple. Do I? It's been a while since I've been over here. 7 days ago. Is that right? Have I just not looked in here? I don't believe that. Just real quick. How many of you were fast enough to get that read? Tells you everybody you can bounce real quick. It's the bottom of that box, right? It's the bang. Hope you guys got that. About as good as I can give it to you. Anyways. Alright, let me pull this next one. You like that? Accuracy when it counts, motherfuckers. But again, like, if you didn't just fucking play that, you can probably chill and wait till the FOMC because there's probably going to be a lot more craziness today. All right. So, in case you didn't get that. So, back to our war stories. What do we got? Sloppy Mechanics. Who's this? Idio Simon. Did I read this one already? I feel like I read this one already. I've recently been going through a tough time, who hasn't, in regards to my mentor who passed away this year and who had left me instructions to take care of his vineyard, for which it does not seem like the financial situation is what we thought it was, and it may have to be sold. Either way, a lot of stress and tension all around, and it was easy to stop participating and get pulled away. Not only has this really affected my mood, which means less logic, I saw also sloppy mechanics on plays I was making. For instance, below, McDonald's only stands paying the bills. 2R diamonds 1R. You can see these trades. Although the timing was good, I was either not sized properly or impatient, and also from the constant calls. Now I see I was also failing to contextualize where I am to properly exit. Also rode Pepe from 100 million market cap to 150, which is demoralizing to see that failure in position management. But once again, trade with bad timing is a bad trade. Very true. So it's reflecting on, I guess, not getting as much out of these guys as you'd want to get out of them, is what I gather from this. And allowing it to kind of run. And this has to probably just do with, like, maybe your cutting strategy or your stop management strategy, and like, do you leave anything to run in it? Like, we always try to get to like some kind of a free roll. Some people, will cut 50% at like 2 Rs or maybe 4 Rs, depending on what the statistics of your journals tell you, in order to leave something there to kind of, if it goes crazy, make some money. And if it comes back, at least, you paid off the risk before it does it. So, maybe look at like, look like some of these you were much more right than you thought you were going to be. And, look at your statistics. Do you tend to actually exit early from moves that you've actually called pretty good that run a lot further? And is there a way you could leave something that will let you stay in there longer, if it does keep going past where you normally are cutting? But yeah, you have to look back at your journaling and kind of see what you're doing to figure that out. I see what you're saying here also. So yeah, if your head's not clear, it's gonna put emotions into your decision making. It's gonna fuck with your planning, and you're gonna leave stuff out. And that's the main thing. The more emotional you are, is the more information you're missing. And that goes into your planning. The more things you forget to check off on your checklist, So having a checklist for one is a good idea. So you know what things all need to be in place before you do shit. But that's the thing that goes. When you're emotional, like if you're like on low resolutions, you forget to do macro contexting and you just lose data. So when, if you feel like you're emotional, one of the big things that's going to happen is you're going to be missing, information somewhere. So it's always worth reflecting. If you're, too emotional, just don't step into this arena and wait till you're like in a better state of mind. Sorry to hear about your mentor passing down. You told me about that. This is Don Bitcoins. Pepe USDT. What I did to change my game, what I did to get better perspective of the market, stopped using the small laptop, Comfort Z 3 years, and started using the iMac. My screen 3x and also my depth of view. Everything looks like if I was above. The wave within the wave I see now. Bigger screen for me changed the game. That's good. Yeah, sometimes the aspect ratio of your screen can do a lot of damage to the perceived amplitude of moves, and I found that to be true also. You can't put too many charts on your screen and scrunch things up, or you can't really tell where the emotions are in the big moves. So that's a very good note to put up. Some people might not realize that that's a thing. If your screen size is too small, you really can't see too much of what's going on it. So that's good. It's a good reflection. If you realize that you need to do some kind of change like that and you did notice a benefit, then more power to you. Post concept call. Tiki fucking Hakamiki. What do you got? Post concept call. Morning after concept call, 22.74 Rs on the MNQ. The call definitely made some things a lot clearer, and the refresher with contexting helped to sharpen the scalpel. Thank you, Kaz. Awesome, man. That's a beast mode shit, right? As good as you can hope for insta fucking results. So you've been putting up big R's the whole time, but that's killer. That's killer execution on the way down and on the way up. It's about as good as it can get. That shitcoin returns out of the fucking, NASDAQ stock index, as good as you could hope for, right? You don't gotta wait for Pepe. Benefits of participation. Benefits of participation. This is Serdar 66. Says, I was silent for a long time and was only looking at streams and reading through the DC chat without really participating. I knew I had to change something, and chat, I'll never be making money and hit good trades when I continue like this. Okay? I started to get back to good habits, starting with hitting the gym, focusing on mental health more than before to be able to maintain focus while looking at charts, watching the show. All right, sounds good. One of the most important changes was I started journaling again. And so you can't ever stop journaling. A lot of people kind of say that, and once you get on a good streak, you guys stop. It's literally death if you do that. It's one of your core habits, because you won't have anything to look back on as the market evolves and your emotions in the market evolve, and you forget about your emotions at past times in the market. You'll just lose track of really key shit. So it's very important not to do that, right? So definitely don't like restart journaling as like a thing you should restart. It's you're pretty much not trading at that point if you're not keeping track of your stats. You're just gambling and you have no fucking like any depth of memory of what the fuck has happened, to your trades. So keep that in mind. I started with writing down my thoughts, and before I started trading again, and it helped me clear my mind. I realized how much it helped me, not only with trading but also with my private life. Especially after a conference call, I recognize how important participating is and attended these calls whenever possible. I made some trades before and after concept call, and I saw a huge improvement. The problem that was that I was too zoomed in and I forgot to look at the bigger picture. I also had the problem that sometimes I was paralyzed because I was drawing too much on my chart, looked at too many time frames at once, and ended up didn't know what to do. I made good plans, and sometimes the price even followed exactly what I'd drawn on the chart, but because of the paralyzation, I couldn't take a trade. Maybe someone had a similar experience. Would be nice to hear how you solved it. The console call definitely made me still struggle a bit. Of course, it's a progress. Let's see. Let's see what you left on here. Before the console call, I was checking out time frame, and every time I ended up on 1 minute time frame because I was going lower and lower, which was constantly necessary every time, and I felt down the hole and got paralyzed because my original plan was on a much bigger time frame. Well, that's the answer, right? The answer is that you have analysis that doesn't relate to what your original plan was, and you're just going through every time frame making a plan, and that'll make you just have too much shit on there. You'll get paralyzed, right? You have to remember what you're trading. If you're trading, do you need to be on a 1 minute for every single one of your plans? Often people tend to go down there because it's the fastest way to get involved, and they forget all about it. If they were trying to take this thing on some bigger swing resolution, they just end up on the 1 minute chart. So one thing is to make sure you actually know what your plan actually is. What are you planning to take? And you stay there. You don't go any lower. You make plans that fit that resolution and wait till that resolution gives you your entry and stay there. The other thing is a lot of times a lot of people will try to preserve every bit of analysis they have. And the reality is you can totally see how little analysis is on this? We kind of cleaned it up when it was down here. You can make this get really, really convoluted. But the reality is that price has memory, right? So I don't have to save levels from, well, this chart doesn't have them on them, but let's just look where we are, right? So the keys are here. Is there price on the technical level? I have a technical level here, just one. I don't have a whole ton of stuff up here. And does this level relate to things in the past? It totally does. I could have TA from back here and keep it projected out and stuff like that. But the fact is price is always interacting with its own history, right? That's why we say, price has memory. So if you do good analysis of what's going on here and here, it'll translate to what comes back again to be useful when price reaches the same areas again, and it will be useful back in hindsight too, right? Let's take this level here, and you projected backwards the same blue level that we projected forwards. He'd have been a great breakout level in the past, right? So the reality is if you're accurate to how you graph. Oh, do I not have a? My bad. Let's do this again. God damn it. I know I hit that button this time. So what I was saying is right here, right? If we took this high and we wanted to watch for it to be on this high, and we projected that level forward, one of the reasons you have to keep your ancient TA back here is because price has memory. It's always interacting with locations that are previously occupied by localized monopolies of perception. So prices levels are really just like pools of human perception. So they're only interacting with previous versions of it. So if I take this blue line back here and I project it into the past, it should still be a great technical level, regardless if I started back here looking at it. It can go both ways, right? And it does. It makes for a really good entry in the past. If you look at it here, that means that price is just interacting with its old levels from the past, right? So you don't have to keep every bit of analysis on here and be like, oh my God, I don't want to lose track of a level. Price is only ever interacting with old locations with similar behaviors. So you look at this congestion right here, and you project it forward. That congestion is interacting with more congestion, right? You can end up projecting bunch of congestion forward, and both of these guys will be useful if price ever gets here again. So it's less is more. I could wipe this whole chart out and start all over again. We've been kind of evolving this chart for the whole show, and let's just start from scratch. So we can wipe that out and forget about all that's ever been on there, because I really want to do that, because god damn it, I can't see shit anyway. And less is more. The real basics of what's going on with this chart we'll put back on here. You don't have to keep everything. I know I do that. I do this for purposes of evolving the TA as the show goes along, But right now, what do we got? The old internet bubble that we took out forever ago. Giant flag up here. That's either going to become a big-ass crash cycle like the internet bubble down here, or this is a bull flag to go to fucking much higher territories later, right? So those are only two choices of what we could be, dealing with at the moment. What level do we care about on this thing again? Put back our blue level that we had in here. He was blue last time. We'll make him blue again. See, absolute high. 42. Exactly. Trade the resolution that suits you. Don't just keep scaling all the way down. It's a fractal pattern. You can obviously go to 1 second if you want, doing the same exact formula. That doesn't necessarily benefit you if you find like a bull flag that's like saying the NASDAQ in a fucking monthly resolution, and you want to play this. That 1 minute doesn't serve you any purpose to try and swing trade something out of the trough of this thing into the new year, right? So, if this is what you're trading, or if you decide, hey, I'm looking at 3 hours and I think, this guy looks like he's doing some shit, and you're going to make a plan to play this, you don't want to go to 1 second with this, right? So make a plan based on what your macro tells you, and stick to what your your entry resolution is supposed to be, and allow that to take shape or not happen at all, right? Don't go chasing stuff around. You'll find something to chase. If you keep staring at this thing, it looks the same. You'll keep finding something to do if you keep doing that. That's why having a plan is so important, so you can figure out what part of this thing you want to participate in, instead of becoming a slave to it and emotionally entangled like most people get, chasing fucking these parabolic arcs, which are just emotions in the marketplace. Rapidly moving prices are emotional. So I told you this was really dangerous when you saw how steep everything was. Nvidia, all these guys were in crazy spots, right? So remember, smart money doesn't participate in fast moving prices. Keep that in mind also. So Google, good range. I told you to pay attention to that. You should probably correct through there. So that's something we wanted. Right, so like I said, if you missed the last opportunity, right, this is some ranges that stuff should have chilled the fuck out, and they did. I think I was still doing war stories, right? I wasn't actually doing macro things. Hold on a second. What is that doing? Yeah, I wasn't done doing that. That was to answer your question about not getting too much levels on your shit. I wiped out my Q chart. Okay, yeah, I forgot what I was doing. I'm a little baked. All right, so yeah, memos and stuff. All right, next one. How is it that I have so many war stories built up and I never looked in last week? Did I really do hour-long shows and never look? That's really weird. The fuck was happening? Hazard. A few recent plays. Okay. Anyone who's paid attention for more than a minute knows the immense amount of value provided on a constant basis for absolutely free. Well, I appreciate that. The blogs, the streams, the posts, life-changing value. You're the book. Simple as that. There's been enough essays for people to get the gist. Be 1% better every day. My entry logic has got exponentially better since I started. My exit logic has definitely got quite a bit of room to get better. My stops are small and my wins are big, and I'm trading consistently. Everything I have learned, everything I apply, everything I've benefited from, not just financially, but the epic wisdom provided in the blogs to change the changes in life and behavior. I owe your dedication to your community and your nonstop teachings week in, week out. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Don't know who that is, but looks like you're doing pretty good. 25 hours total on, what is this? NVIDIA. Cool, you killed this one, huh? The AI deal? Good stuff. This is not bad exits. If you pulled off exits like this, If you got all the way that way, you could probably let the free roll and survive that. But hell, if you got a whole new entry, you probably made more money by taking this again. Sometimes you can get really caught up in man, I wish I kept the fucking one entry from here all the way. But then you're down to fucking 10 or 15% of what your original position is. And if you could get a whole new position up here and get the 7 Rs on that and then scale out again, this may add up to becoming a better deal than taking both of these and just kind of hanging on to over 20 Rs. I mean, the reality is also again with your journal, you always want to look at how often do you see this happen, and so figure out a cutting strategy. If you do make it to 20 Rs, if you're gonna not reestablish a new trade, that you left enough in there to make it worth it to kind of extend the previous trade, or even keep the free roll and take a whole new trade while the free roll is running from the previous one and try to add on to it. Of course, that all depends on your comfort and what you see normally does happen to you. When you do get to these kinds of high R&R trades. But this is a badass trade. It's good stuff, man. This is Eagle Materials. Don't know that guy. I don't remember that one. Solar guy. Very nice. Some option plays. What is going on with this ugly chart? That's a very ugly chart. Well, look like you're killing it, man. Good shit. Happy to hear that you're consistent and the stuff in the rooms and the eco is helping you. Alright, and is that it? Alright, and this was our events. So today, we have Yellen somewhere, right? Pretty sure she runs her mouth today. Yeah, Yellen speaks at 10 o'clock, any minute, 10 minutes from now, and then FOMC. So you do want to keep track of her because she's going to fan the flames about the debt ceiling. That's what she's going to come on and speak about, is that nonsense. And then last but not least, any earnings? What were you saying, Sim, for NVIDIA? So ADI and NVIDIA worth paying attention today. Nobody else we care about tomorrow. Might want to see what Costco says and Best Buy. These guys will tell you something about discretionary spending in the U.S. and the people going to basically save money or still willing to spend on electronics. Probably worth seeing both of these guys in the same day because we know that the cost of living is going fucking bonkers. And people are going to have to pull money from someplace, right? And retail is likely that place. So definitely worth seeing that. I tweeted a chart that was really crazy. I retweeted a chart somebody posted. You guys got to look at this. We talked about brick stripping the living standards out of the West. Look at this fucking crazy graph. Let's hope I can find it pretty fast. Holy fuck sticks, Batman. This is buying versus renting in America. And so you got to think about this across the time span that this graph goes. It goes, it's dealing with mortgage rates, obviously. Mortgage rates are really crazy right here. So this is a huge reason for, this is a interest rate surge trying to stop inflation under Volcker. That's created these insane interest rates that, are making buying a home very, very unaffordable. And rent is miles under it. But you see one thing, right? There's not any corrections to the cost of rent. You notice that? It never stops, right? It's always been going. And generally, your big, real estate, soft real estate markets happen when you have, these excesses above rent. You tend to correct and you get, a flat rate real estate market. You had a lot of inflation in the 80s. Real estate in certain parts of the country still went crazy. And then you had a very, very dead period of, real estate in the 90s in many parts of the country. And then you started to have a huge boom post 9/11 when interest rates went down to stimulate the country. You got your giant fucking housing bubble, which even with low interest rates out there and getting lower, the market fucking pushed so fast, it became very unaffordable and then it corrected again. One thing that's really different on this graph, if you really look at it, right? See these last 1, 2, 3, 4 measurements right here? That is the steepest trajectory of rent you've ever seen on this whole graph. And that is slightly, something worth paying attention to, right? Everyone's kind of hoping real estate comes down and gives them a breather and a chance to buy some cheap houses, but rent is the highest it's ever been in New York City. Real estate is also setting records. And, there's, like I said, the haves are still buying, right? You saw, I think it was Jay-Z, they bought the most expensive home in California. There is just a combination of effects that is just attacking the American consumers' ability to afford life. And this is the scary one, right? This acceleration to rent, is happening because the demand is still fucking there for people to live anywhere. The builders can't build fast enough, like we saw that we have strong fucking like building stocks, and the interest rates to buy these ever increasingly expensive assets is going up with it, and institutions are still plowing real estate with us. It's like really the craziest combination of shit. But this right here is a rate of change that is literally unsustainable. You keep going at this speed, and pretty soon people don't have anything for but food, gas, and fucking roofing, and they don't have a roof over their heads, and they don't have money for shit else. So today we definitely do want to look at what Costco says and what Best Buy says, because those are two tells that will tell you, like, if people are pulling money back away from certain shit like electronics and or going for like discount, wholesale stores like Costco. But that's a scary fucking chart, isn't it? That would be the effects of BRICS. That would be the pressure they want to put on us. That is taking money away from everything that we're used to spending on and forcing us to like just cling to life and what we can feed ourselves and where we can live, like third world countries do. They can't buy lots of luxury items, right? All their money goes into surviving. And right there, that trajectory arc you see in rent is exactly that. Real scary shit. Everyone wants a housing crash. It's a crowded trade. It's exactly what the fuck's not, right? Everyone's looking at housing to buy. It's really scary, right? But it's a very tilted trade. Rent is nuts every fucking where and going up at a speed that no one can fucking can keep their head around. And like right now, if you want to get a place in like Brooklyn, it's a lottery system. You can't get in. They're oversubscribed for everything. Rent anywhere. If you want, like me and Gav want like a 3-bed and 2-bath in a decent spot in Brooklyn, like anywhere near facing Manhattan in the good areas, it's minimum like $5,800 to like $6,200 to get a decent place by a good school for like a 3-2 but reasonable size, under like 1,800 square feet. It's like $6,000 to $8,000 for like a good area. That's fucking insane shit. The cheapest thing for like a studio in Manhattan is $4,100 for a studio right now. Like 700 square feet, fucking no door to a bedroom, fucking that's $4,000. That's rent. Shit is damn near unaffordable, Yeah, we did it. Brooklyn rent is fucking crazy. It's like it makes Miami look fucking like, not even that bad. And Miami's crazy as fuck. But the rate at which rent's going up, and there is somebody for every single available unit in Brooklyn right now. It doesn't fucking matter what the price is. There is somebody looking for all of it. So the demand is fucking insane. There are people with money. There's just a wide body of people in the U.S. that are struggling to afford shit, but there is money here. It's just, there is a rotation going on within the country. And like I said, the haves are having more and the have-nots are having less, all at once. But yeah, it's pretty crazy to see that. And that rent trajectory is definitely fucking scary. So something to keep your eyes on. All right, where am I at? So did I scare you half to death yet? So I did Reddit. Time to go over some macro things without fucking breaking our necks right to get to the market. We know Yellen's gonna open her mouth in fucking 5 minutes, I think. Let me see something. Yeah, that graph is nuts. Are we doing Skeleton Crew vibes? I see 102. Pretty light. I'm not ready for that yet, Tiki. I'm about to do macro shit. Alright, let's see what we got here. $99. Definitely some salt these days. Maybe they're mad because I'm going over the market open time period. Alright, let's see. SPY things. It is what it is. Alright, so SPY peeked its head out of the phantom zone, and now Tiki rules all once again. We are back in his bullshit. So this was that expanding range I showed you in the futures. That's what you're in the heart of right now. Pretty ugly. See what this NAS is doing, that little box range we showed you. Recoil the box range. So see, good interaction with your last volume zone. That's where market support is. It's where people are. So like I said, this is a good range to watch. Boink, boink, both sides of it. Perfect box range, right? And see if he goes through the floor of it. If he keeps doing that with a strong VIX, then you can keep getting some more downside pressure. The VIX is staying pretty strong right now, so you do want to pay attention to this thing as he's kind of, arcing up there. The fuck? Today, Jackson. So pretty powerful VIX pump right there. I want to pay attention now. The VIX is like through this stable range that we had boxed out before, and so the next line in the sand is 21. You want to see how he interacts with that, but yep, pretty powerful VIX pump right now equals fucking weakness in the market. Weakness in everything, crypto included, right? So crypto's taking a dump bar with that. Back up on him, see what we've done with crypto things at the moment. Like we said, he could rotate from this angle if he fails to hold this all the way to this angle. But, wasn't looking for that. But if it gets that bad, it gets that bad, right? So we're tracking this. And on ETH, same thing. ETH is in a bull flag structure. Can you go down here and check this? Totally can. We gave him a channel possibility to get all the way back to the top of this system. And so you keep eyes on it and just see if he migrates down there, right? So for right now, at this res, it doesn't look like the worst possible. Probably once you get like FOMC, this will give a catalyst to kind of blow it out of this like smaller range you got in here. So like right now, you just have this kind of like, really clear congestion in there, and he's not out of that, but we should get something from the FOMC to either shoot him down here and then give him a chance to rotate up. Maybe he comes back out like so, tags that, and then is able to rotate back that way and just hold this system low. So that's a possibility. Let's check if I can. Maybe he goes a little deeper, right? Let me show you that well. Extend this emotion range out. Let's check him out again. So Litecoin, I know I talked about Litecoin before. So Litecoin, still struggling. Still kind of in a bull flag rotation. Big bar down right now, but still within the body of it. So you kind of like, don't get too zoomed in, but give it its time to figure itself out. So yeah, I think that's what you're watching going to the Fed announcement right now. Then we got the rotation up here. If he gets on top of this guy, rotation here, and then another secondary movement flag on the way out is possible. How you should exit this emotion zone. So keep track of it, never jump the gun until he shows you what he's supposed to if you guys are contexting properly. USDT.D with that. So this thing is still strong. This is our last emotion level we have. He never made it, so he might make it today. We're looking for that this kind of possibility to tag off of here. If this was going to basically rotate the bull flags of crypto we saw in BTC, LTC, and ETH, we would get probably a counter structure like this rotating back down. So we see if this is possible. If he goes up here, comes back down, and then gives us a waveform to go across this, that will become the bull move of crypto. So patience is a virtue. While this is happening, this gives crypto the possibility of de-risking also. DXY stuff. Did I do that yet? I didn't do that yet. So yeah, while this is strong, right? This is the correction in Euro USD, and again, he's still sitting right here. What's going on here? That's not right. There it is. All right, Euro USD. So he's still sitting just on the angle. He's not really cleanly through it. Let's see. So you're kind of watching this. He's attempting to kind of come out of there. I pay attention to you have a dollar catalyst with the FOMC. So depending on what they say, this guy should leave this little narrow range he's sitting in right now. And then like GBP USD. Let's see what he's up to. So you had a bull flag structure for him. You look like he was trying to rotate it with him popping out and doing this. Just change your angles of your flag. And we're still waiting on him with also the FOMC, likely as the catalyst that gets him to figure this out. If he's going to dump bar back into this range or turn up again. So many are thinking like the Fed might be done with their adjustments at this point. Some of the governors are signaling it, and there's a couple Wall Street guys betting on the fact that they're totally done. If they say they're done raising rates right now, or they hint that in the minutes, that would likely be pretty bullish and weakening to the dollar. Also, bullish to the risk assets and weakening to the dollar. So today's minutes are worth paying attention to see what they say, because that's what someone's betting that they're talking about. Do you look at your candles like that when you're trade, like colored that way, or do you just use a color scheme for your candles to identify confirm? This is what I always look at. This is the exact same template we all trade on. This is what I've always used for a long, long time. This is what I train everybody on also. I run the whole show on it. I don't have like a secondary template. Nope. It's the same shit. Let's see. All right, where was I again? So that was currency stuff. Keeping the yen in focus with what's going on in Japan's strength. I think he's a basket of currencies to keep on your radar. So these guys still look amazingly bullish again, if you guys are keeping track of those. Those guys, that's where the real bull market in currencies is right now, is against the yen. A lot of people's eyes are on the dollar, and no one's eyes are on what's going on in Japan. Saw a couple of you guys hit some Japan plays, so congrats on that. But yeah, this is where the market really is moving, and nobody's eyes are, right? And what's going on in Japan also in their stock market. Wrong one. Japan. Leon. Gas pedal Leon. So the projections for Leon, quite possibly, could be epic. So paying attention to Japan's bull market with the tailwind coming from their weaker currency is the combo platter du jour. So, keeping that on radar. So covered indexes, crypto, fixed. All right. I think that's it. Everybody get all that? A lot of stuff, including our rental scare chart. What a fucking chart, right? Can things just keep getting more expensive faster? That's the worry, right? If they don't cool inflation, the trajectory doesn't fucking wane. So definitely something we pay attention to as we watch fucking shit break records up here in the city. All right, now I'm ready for your crazy ass list of stuff. What'd you guys ask? Medium list, small list, gigantic list. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. All right. IWM. This is wrong chart. IWM. Okay, cool. We did this already. Is that what you just asked? IWM? Yeah, so Russell small cap. Always interested to pay attention to small caps. Kind of gives you kind of a read, like we look at LTC, right? He kind of tells you about risk-seeking behavior, and he's a better, broader measure of the overall market, really, than even the S&P at times. This guy, if you see him outperforming the S&P, it's a good indication that there's money flowing to slightly riskier assets than the S&P, and he kind of gives you a really good gauge on really strong bull sentiments. When this guy's strong, the market is very strong. He hasn't been strong in a long fucking time. So U.S. assets have been dead money. This is the pre-COVID high, double top right here. This is the pre-COVID high. This is actually the end of 18 before you got a big correction into PPT. And then this is the COVID dump. And you've been kind of sitting here clinging to life. He wicked through, so we created a wick range for him on the climax low with the previous climax high. And if he gets down here, you'd care that this could get significantly weaker. For right now, it's just a shitty range. If he holds this high and goes oscillates to the other side, you pay attention for potential exit here. But while he's in here, it's just a chop shop. And what he's been doing while we were in phantom zone on the S&P. So not much else to add to that guy. Let's see. IRDM, Iridium, space stuff has been looking really strong. And we talked about this in the pods. We did this to you in the pod, actually, and the squiggle these on here. And you should definitely be watching these guys. This is not necessarily the greatest setup. This tends to end up in some kind of correction across this angle in time. But, if he holds this trajectory, you can play that. But usually you get this guy correct across this, and then it'll turn back up and then be able to go again. Something like that would probably be a little safer if he gives you a bigger correction. You get a bigger bull flag like that. That might look a little better if he does something along those lines. might even need to follow that one, right? All right. XLE. So XLE got a bit of a corrective structure on this guy. He did come all the way back up, pulling back here, never exited the top of this level. We gave him a trigger up here on the top of the box range. I think in this corrective structure, you just kind of watch right now and see if this bull flag matures. This is a good trigger to watch if he goes underneath it. If he tracks underneath it, when he comes back up through it, that would be like really good to pay attention to if he regains this critical high here. So right now, he either sits on top of it or goes through it and comes back up through it. You pay attention to it with this angle and this trigger and see if he gains some strength back here or if he follows the second pattern. NTDOY, Nintendo. Nintendo looks pretty fucking epic. We did this when we're looking at, hang on. I think it's over here. Yeah, so looking at Nintendo, let's put him on top of that. Looks at Sony and Nintendo together. And so you kind of look at like, this last major congestion from this high here, you put in a second high here, and you got the bull flag of the Nikkei and its rotation right now. And in it, you can kind of see like Sony's doing a better job of rotating his flag that corresponds to the Nikkei. And Nintendo's kind of got a more gradual one, but they're both bull flags nonetheless. Just the angle of incidence on Sony is a lot steeper than it is on Nintendo. But you're seeing at least a rotation come out here. And then, probably take a look at some things gaming in America. ATVI. And see if a few gaming things line up with this. And so Take Two Interactive, he's kind of got a flag that lines up with it, right? And where's the other guy I just grabbed? Activision, he's in there, but his bull flag structure is kind of like similar so too, right? So there's a couple guys that look like they're attempting to rotate in gaming, both console and like software developers. So as far as like the Japan strength angle of it, I think Nintendo never goes away. There's people like Nintendo has its place out there like Disney does, and if there's a resurgence in Japan, I think Nintendo may see new life, in the South Asian markets. So I think paying attention to him and Sony is a good idea. He is a dog right now. He's not the best of breed. There's clearly other things in gaming that are far stronger, and they don't run perfectly congruently, but software guys might take a little break and allow for some of the console guys to play a little catch up in strength. Sony is kind of tracking this pretty good, so you're kind of waiting to see if Nintendo gets a sympathy play with it. If this stays strong and keeps on going, it'll eventually drag Nintendo out with it, I think. All right. Sorry, it's a little messy looking. Sorry, one sec. So back to this Nintendo, what he looks like. Yeah, I think, let me see, why did I establish that level there? Let me think about that 1 second. I'd rather track him as he did 2B on that. I'm not sure why I had that level. Keep track if he ever does manage to make it to this angle. But for right now, this is the trend trajectory you've got for him trying to head out, trying to rotate up. So I think you're watching, timing between him here and here. Okay. ExxonMobil. Pretty sure we have this somewhere. ExxonMobil. Okay, cool. So this guy kind of in tandem with XLE and, sitting on top of what do we have him tracking here? This is the housing bubble high. He managed to break through this briefly here, retested perfectly there in 16 when oil took a shit. Post-COVID, so good interaction with this guy. You can kill this just to get some of the noise off. So this guy, we want to see him bull flag on top of the system. And then, you know, the real bull flag is really this, right? And this is just trading within the body of it. So this is the bull flag on top of system we're hoping he would do. So you want to see him to see if he can rotate fully. You probably want to see energy itself be a little bit better than it is. And energy's a bit like lagging right now. We just looked at it. And so you kind of got to see what this ultimately does. If he stabilizes here, ExxonMobil can rotate right now. And probably watching these two together might give you a better read than watching both of them independently. NAS 100. So NAS 100 is the Qs. So put this on the Qs, like simplified things. And this is the inflection point you're at, right? The previous high that put us into the low of the bull flag. So for your NAS 100, right, you just translate everything that you saw us do on the Qs over to this guy also. It's the same thing. All right, you can you're just watching. High is 721.5. Is that right? Am I blind? $721.5. So that's your key inflection point right now, and just waiting to see how far this corrector structure goes off of here. But that's your line in the sand for now. So just use the same TA we use on Qs. It's the same thing. Oh, right. And our murder cluster chart is back. So there's all our murder cluster. The whole chart's back. So keeping up with this guy. This is our support from our mass shootings, if you guys remember. I'm sure you do. And this is the last one we basically noted on here for March. Then we had a bunch of casual shootings and shit in here. And we had this projection for this flag to rotate up. He's punched through and come back. So, you know, we're just looking at this guy with a little less noise on him. Is it possible he does, like, you know, set up here to complete this projection and finish rotating back up through this guy? This top level you'd want to pay attention to, which is obviously the same level as our Phantom Zone and Ragnarok levels, right? The exit out that way. All right, so I think that's enough details on that. CO1 exclamation. Oil is on this chart. So we've been watching this this projection here. We have this like kind of long tracking like flag. We had in this area supposed to have a correction on our projection. It's just become far bigger than we thought it should be. We gave it another range down here, a box range of like, you know, heavy volume congestion. And pay attention to this is what we said to you with this angle here. So he kind of dipped through it, landed on our key level fractal embargo, bounced, hit the high of the box range, bounced back, hit it again, and is now attempting to still rotate this angle. So for right now, while in this box range that you're watching, right, is it going to bull flag here, rotate this, sit on top of our big trigger for the fractal embargo, and then rotate up to continue this bull flag rotation that it's doing in our larger BNB fractal. So that's what you're watching right now. Big congestion area. See if he gets any strength through here. And so with that area and XLE sitting on top of that high and ExxonMobil, all three of these together should kind of give like, you know, confirming signals of what's going on. AEX Euronext. AEX Euronext, you mean the index? I sure hope that's what you mean. It's an index, right? I think, isn't what you asked me the other day? I feel like you guys just asked me this thing. Is this what you're asking me? The Amsterdam stock market? I think that's what you're asking me, right? Yeah, this, right? Pretty sure this is it. So, I saw I did the TA on this like literally the other day. All right, so let's put the some of his cousins on top of him. That sounds gross. CAC, UK. What is this? UK index is fucked. All right, there you go. So here's a little basket of European indexes to give us an idea of like where this guy is in the scheme of things, right? Is he like best of breed or middle of the pack or whatever's going on here? So with this, we have Germany up top. See Germany clearly rotating always at the highs of his bull flag. You can see France. We talked about both those guys were the strengths, right? Germany and France were the two strong guys. And with like UK, he's kind of been slightly, a bit different and not really had like that real long sustaining strength that we see going on in Germany and DAX. With regard to Amsterdam, you can clearly see that he's kind of hung up in the kind of the same area that the UK is, right? These guys are making higher highs sequentially, and Amsterdam is choking out on that last high along with the UK. So he's not best of breed, right? It's in this most recent pump, Germany and France are the strength. If he doesn't correct too much, and we get this correction we see in the stock market, it's happening over here, it's starting to happen right now, going to the FOMC minutes, and this all manages to pull another one of these right here, then that kind of strength is what you need to kind of see. Hopefully this guy turn up and follow it eventually, even as a laggard, and this guy the same, right? So that's kind of what you're waiting to see right now. So let me kill all of that. Let me get this off of here one sec. That makes sense the way I did that. Keep it simple. So right now, this is the flag he's congesting in, right? He's congesting with the pullback we see in like US right now and overseas. And so as long as the pullback is not like the end of the line for this rotation and the murder support's still there, then this is likely a local high. And this is a good area to watch it. His congestion is sitting over a major system from the internet bubble era, right? So if this sits clean, and this is actually the flag right here, a clean flag over system, and this all fits inside this little area. Let's make this a better color. And then the chance for him to play a catch up like in a more sustained bull pump that comes after this de-risking period we're in right now. All right, and then what's the next one? Pepe Cash. Pepe Cash. Do I have Pepe? I do have Pepe. Okay, cool. All right. Pepe. So I came with some levels for this guy. Did a little tutorial in our concept call talking about this dude, and it's looking at him right now, waiting on seeing what he's going to do. So this is the big resolution pullback we've got so far, and this is the attempt at a rotation, and this is what he's done since the attempt at rotation, right? He's got a major trigger, I think, up here in this range to get through if he's going to get strength again, and he's kind of bleeding away right now. So if he's going to sustain at least this flag, anything that comes down here is possibly, a bear trap if he doesn't take out the last low, right? So this major low put him into the high, came back, tested there. I thought he should hit this. He didn't. If he hits it now, it'd be pretty fucking hideous if he comes down here and does it like that. That'd be a really ugly flag, but it'd be a flag nonetheless, but look a little more like he's still in the midst of crashing. So right now, with there being weakness in risk assets, weakness in crypto, The most recent down move we see in BTC overnight and in ETH we see here. So it's correlated that this is a broad de-risk, and we see it everywhere. When you see it in like meme coins to like your big caps, right? Money's leaving absolutely across the board. So this fact is reacting like this, ETH is likely going to react with ETH and Bitcoin are likely going to react with the Fed minutes. So probably pay attention to this after he reacts and see what happens. This box range is not necessary. So take him back up a res. And don't be dead. Alright, it's kind of what we're watching right now. And so kind of a slow bleed right now. Volume is absolutely fucking dead. And I think you're kind of watching this structure to see how this resolves itself and if this holds or not. If it doesn't, the area you care about next, most importantly, is how it tests this. If he gets to this area, you care how this hits. And there'll likely be, a chance for a play with him going through here and coming back if he hits that zone. So, kind of a wait and see thing with him, right? All right. What do you got next? AVAT. All right. AVAV. You just asking me the shit out of the fucking on cyber motherfucker. Didn't we talk about that in there? Fucking that motherfucker. Same shit I had yesterday. If you asked me that symbol, you were in the on cyber, and I already did it. It's this. Keep it exclusive. Don't just ask it back after I did it to you privately. Same shit. Play when he gets up there off the old fucking high before you got 2 beat on. XAU USD. XAU USD. Well, that's gold. So we have that TA on something else. There it is. So yeah, it's exactly the same thing, just in case you're trading a CFD for it. Damn it. My bad. Let's start over. XAU USD. What the fuck? I'm gonna try to XAU USD. Right, okay, so some of you have CFDs for this guy, but he's the same old GLD. So same TA applies. To apply it to whatever you're trading on. With this dude, we drew him up already, right? We put a little box range we liked up here. You zoom into that. One thing. This was one trigger area I liked, and as I created a box range out of it, you want to see him stabilize above here, push through, and then right now, if gold's going to have a run off the top, you're probably watching him to flag into this lower trigger area and come back out of it, and then set up on top of here. So for this to work, for this trigger zone to work, you'd want to see him basically rotate up here and stabilize, and then leave off the top of that with a system that's like, stable outside of the second trigger. So watching gold at all-time highs right now. Fed minutes is probably going to play into how he reacts today, how the dollar reacts today, how risk assets react today. And right now while he's up here, yeah, you don't want to get complacent because gold's obviously like, one of the main components of BRICS' attack. I think we have silver too on this chart, right? Silver is often overlooked for a while until he's like hauling ass. So these are larger scale precious metal rotations that we're still keeping eyes on, and this is our important trigger here for silver to get above first, and then to clear the high of this bull flag that breached this trigger. Secondly, so he's deflected off that trigger right now, and gold is deflecting off of his secondary area. He's gone through it with a wick. He's slightly stronger. So I think paying attention to both these guys right now where they are, on slightly bigger resolutions is a good idea. Also, with our central bank being in the news for, quite a bit more, and for BRICS, trying to do what they're doing, precious metals and basic materials, with regard to the conversation of inflation should still stay on your, on your radar. All right, that was a lot. Did you guys get all that? You weren't on Unside when you asked that one? All right, well, you got good instincts then. Yeah, we talked about some defense stocks that we thought looked pretty good. Here, let me find them. One sec. Let's see. I wrote down a bunch of goodies. Yeah, fuck it. You can look at some stuff. I got the chart. Let's see. This is TV. So, talked about some defense guys yesterday in the on cyber, like HEIs and these guys. Like, there's a lot of stuff in aerospace and defense people aren't watching. Pretty sure I had a fucking chart for that guy. Maybe it's him. Yeah, we had this guy on the show a while ago, Hexel. And a lot of guys in aerospace that no one's paying attention to, but like the entire situation going on, in Europe with Putin and stuff like that, there will definitely be, unusually higher amounts budgeted to, defense spending. And we're very much still in a race for, space cash and, what's going on off-world that no one's paying attention to. I did recently get back my thread on space cash, which is definitely worth its own show to go over once I now can finish the blog and I actually have all the historic stuff. I can actually more readily do that now properly. So I am working on finishing. I did see your question. I am working on finishing that guide. Just been a little burned out in the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to try to get that thing knocked out because I do finally have my timeline for it. I don't think I can find it very quickly here. How did I do it? They do bookmarks and shit. No, I fucking don't think I can find it quickly. Where is it? You guys are all looking at it today, and I can't find it. Oh, yeah. So this is the OG thread of OG threads. But this is, if you click on the very top of this guy, this has a lot of stuff I kept in order, and this is how I write threads. I use a database to keep track of the unfolding evolution of the analysis. So this all began back here with saying that in mid-2020s we'd begin colonizing Mars and use a form of cryptographic currency to transfer value. This is 2015, long before Elon thought it was cool to say that stuff. And then the stuff that came next. This was the original post back in 2015 before they changed the laws to let us go get assets off world. And part of the inflationary, hyperinflationary forward futures that I thought we'd be dealing with, going into the 2020s. I think I have that mark about it. These are some of the technologies that came into play and stuff like that. I have to go look through, but I talk about inflation and getting, forward inflation to skyrocket. And part of that's the war scenario, that we would be in a war scenario going into the 2020s because of, Russia and China, that situation we forecasted in 2016, and a new race, arms race in space. It would fuel like a very, hyperinflationary environment. And on top of it, now BRICS is attacking us economically. So there's just, every possible cross current to make us having skyrocketing asset prices is happening. So, we'll get this organized though, but if you guys check this out, this is a pretty cool timeline to read through if you haven't actually looked at it yet. This is the OG Space Cash timeline. And this is actually a chart from 2015 forecasting the gold Dow ratio, a very good benchmark to keep track of risk assets versus risk off assets. And looking at gold and, the Dow separately. Going into here, which is where COVID is, this is actually the dip move that, was forecasted to happen here. While you kept on having risk assets run on top of fucking gold as an outperforming asset class, going into this fucking later 20s, roaring 20s type scenario. So, where the fuck is it? Boy, I'm really retarded right now with this. Yeah, those Twitter threads are blogs themselves. So if you guys, it took me forever to get this thing back. Definitely go check these out. This is timekeeping, history events as they unfolded, pretty much nobody else ever used Twitter for. So, we'll be trying to add on to these too. It's kind of hard to pick up where I left off, like 5 years ago with these, but yeah, this stuff was an amazing amount of information we managed to store in one place. I'm retweeting stuff from the past too for you guys to check out. These are some of the old things. This is what like all my old students used to study, and just the conversations we used to have about like the way the world is around us, and what we perceive and don't perceive. So this might seem a little like nerdy and stuff like that, but this also has to do with thinking about like patterns on and off the chart. That a lot of people's thinking is very limited when they're looking at the charts, but we're trying to show you that there's fractals in nature, kind of like at all resolutions everywhere you look. And people don't think that way, but if you had to think about it, it's like living inside a high resolution video game. And it's not that we can always explain things to one another using analogies because we're lucky to do that. It's because everything's are so self-similar that the universe is analogous to itself in every single system. So we speak in analogies naturally without realizing why that makes sense to even do. So this is all... Ivy, are you fucking crazy? It's like the fucking police is breaking into my fucking house. It's the fucking cat jumping out of the closet. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Fucking traumatizing motherfuckers. But yeah, stuff like this, 2014, nobody in crypto cared about things like this. But this is to the fact that things are so self-similar that this was something that, jumped out immediately to me, and looking at price patterns that look the same in every asset class. It's like, it's not just like one or two coincidences. There is a lot of shit to tell you that you live inside something that's like a recursive system, So these are the old, the OG stuff I used to post out here. That I thought was pretty dope. So make sure and check it out. All right, y'all. That's a long ass show. I'm gonna let y'all get out of here. Go make some money. Stay safe. Watch out for the FOMC and stuff like that. Make sure you're organized with all the intel we put on the show. We put a lot, so you don't feel the need to pressure yourself to keep track of every single fucking thing we say. And a lot of you get caught up in doing that. And if you miss everything, then you fucking freak out and you drive yourself crazy. The market's in a good correction after pumping pretty hard, from March. We know a lot of people missed it. We know there's a lot of skeleton crew buys. We had an exodus of some acolytes who I guess, got what they needed. All of those things are sentiment things, and all kinds of salt as we come up from January. So, if you feel like you've not benefited as well as you should have this year, now's the time to absolve yourself of your sins and let that go so you can, approach things with a clear mind. Skeleton crew vibes are still persisting, so opportunity is still around, So absolution is necessary. All right, motherfuckers. Till next time. Catch you on the flip. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome